course I do.
Okay. Let me see it.
Yeah, forget it.
No, wait.
I'm Not Okay With This is a very unique piece of live-action TV. The way it's able to climb to the rank of a hit show, with hardly any use of its blockbuster aspects, mind powers by the way, is something that deserves to be analyzed. The show is about Sydney Novak, a 17-year-old girl in high school who loses her father and somehow gets supernatural powers. If you heard that premise on its own, then you would probably have a very specific predetermined idea of how the show will play out, but if you saw the show's logo, you'd begin to go back on your assumption. I'm Not Okay With This uses supernatural abilities to add to the high school setting, because the show isn't about Sid's powers. I'm Not Okay With This is about friendship, youth, freedom, and grief. And I would have to list all of those elements of the show before I even get to the supernatural aspects of it. Even the trailers for the show don't focus on our powers that much. The show doesn't try to bait and switch you into watching it with the fact that it has superhumans in it, because I'm Not Okay With This knows that the show isn't that. This video will be analyzing how the show pulls off themes about youth and growing up from a filmmaking standpoint, and why the show works so well. Sid is shown right off the bat to be uncaring and lacks empathy for anyone but her best friend Dina, who she is secretly in love with. She is a very depressed person and is very spiteful over small things. The diary is another aspect unique to the show. The use of the diary is actually very smart because it allows us to get into Sid's head. We know exactly what she's thinking with clever voiceover.
He lives down the street from me, where I feel shitty about basically everything about myself. Stan is the master of zero fucks.
It also non-verbally tells the audience that Sid is painfully alone, which causes her to have these vent moments.
I hear he didn't even leave a note. If you want to know something, you'll never know why he killed himself.
This sets up all the mental context the show needs for Sid for the big ending, which I'll get to later. The first occasion Sid uses her powers is to make Dina's boyfriend's nose bleed. The way this is edited is perfect, because you subconsciously want to watch what a caged dog will do to fight back, to watch the drama unfold. Watching her do this to Brad is relatable, because we've probably all invalidly hated someone for things that annoy you. The writers of this show definitely know how things work with teenagers. One thing I hate in TV is when adults think they can write teenagers realistically but fail. This show does not have any such problem. Relatability, check. The show's strengths all stem from repetition of perception and getting you into Sid's point of view and the way she perceives things. The show also gets you out of her head for some moments to let you think for yourself on the morality in the events happening. Sid is never always likable. In fact, Sid is much of a brat for most of the show. She's very spiteful and gets angry for no good reason. Her powers activate when she remembers that she has to pick up groceries. She's an asshole to her own surprisingly tolerant mom. You feel totally with her when all of this happens, because as I said earlier, we hear her thoughts so we don't completely turn on her. In fact, the show puts you in Sid's head so much that her being an asshole eventually stops taking you out of the story, because you know that it's just a trait of hers. Which is why after being with her during her lows, when she's at her highs for the first time in the series, you share her feelings. This is my Twitter's favorite character, Stanley Barber. Stanley Barber is a very unique case for perception. The show uses perception and mind melds to make you feel what it wants. Seeing Stanley show Sid kindness when we first see him makes us immediately like him, because we've been following Sid through her shitty life before now. Here's evidence for my analysis. Stanley has no friends. He seriously has no friends. If he has no friends, why is he important to us? Because he's important to Sid. Stan has been a great person to Sid. He's treated her well, even when she's nothing but horrible to him. And that's why we care.
Following you?
Just when I thought I couldn't be any more paranoid. Stanley Barber, ladies and gentlemen.
What is with you today?
This is a unique way of making a character cool without being on the nose. You make the character do very respectable things that maybe you yourself wouldn't be big enough to do. And that's what causes the lovely mental stimulation of Sid and Stan's time spent together. Sid has no friends. Her friendship with Stanley is totally understandable and relatable. You feel like you're hanging out with Stanley yourself. Earlier in the show, Sid pops the pimples on her thighs in this nasty scene. When Sid opens up to Stan about her gross thigh pimples, Stan doesn't react the way she does at all. He doesn't even react like a normal person would. He makes light of the situation and asks to see her body. He doesn't find it gross, because if Stan hasn't made Sid feel less alone before now, he has now. This immediate attraction to Stanley is natural, and it's also natural to not feel icky for Sid having sex with him. The show knows how you felt when you've been attracted to someone for who they are, or knows how you will feel. The series' use of Sid's powers is very realistic. Any other kid who discovers they have superpowers would probably use them irresponsibly, but Sydney Novak is depressed, and her powers add nothing to her life. Instead, her powers serve as a metaphor for shit hitting the fan for her. The way high school is portrayed in I'm Not Okay With This isn't special. Kids go to parties, we've seen a million times. But it's the time spent in this high school party that makes the show feel super young in a good way. If a show or movie had a quote kiddish feel to it, you would probably imagine something that could belong on a Disney Channel. But a lot of, if not the majority of real-life kids, don't live a super funny life. Real-life kids go through tough things because that's the transition to adulthood. Kids never get help from their parents, and almost all the time, they all go through the process of climbing out of the hole that the world has dug them into on their own. At the party, Sid kisses Dina, and she doesn't react well. And when I first watched this, I felt like shit, because I'm growing up right now too. And there were moments where I just wanted to scream, the only word I scream being fuck. The physical shockwave we see here just emphasizes how fucking nasty this feeling Sid has is. Her powers have never been so powerful before. She's never caused a shockwave before. Can you imagine the pain someone would feel if a person they've been in love with for so long reacts badly to years of love that you've secretly held for them? That's a highly relatable youth feeling there. Can you imagine the pain you would feel if all the pain you've secretly felt lately has been exposed to the world by a person you hate more than anyone else?
Shut up.
No, Beck.
Shut up, just shut up.
Sydney, clean.
Shut up!
Because Sid has the most screen time and we've gone to see how she sees the world without being forced to, we can understand why Sid would kill Brad. We feel hurt when she's called out for being a lesbian because we've stayed on Sid's side. She hasn't done anything wrong. She doesn't deserve this. And it feels justified. I'm Not Okay With This is the most simple GD's show I've seen since Stranger Things. But only season 1 and 2 because season 3 sucked. It's no doubt to me why it's become a Netflix hit. If anything I've said in this video interests you, even a little bit, then I highly recommend you watch this show. That has to be it for now, because I'm signing off. I don't know when I'm going to upload again, but I can guarantee that I do want to upload more videos in the future. But my personal life is out of my control. If I have the time, I will make more videos, I can promise that.